Welcome in to a special edition of Metal Forge Reviews, specifically Underground Spotlight. I am flying solo on this one, so thank you for joining me. Underground Spotlight is our series that focuses on lesser-known bands, right from the bands in our backyards to international solo artists. With winter right around the corner here in New England, I wanted to focus on some underground black metal bands. There's something so fitting about watching a quiet snowfall and having something equally cold playing in the background. If you couldn't tell, black metal has a special place for Brandon and I. Besides doom metal, we will very frequently focus on bands that take inspiration from or are black metal. What's cool about this subgenre is how much it has grown since its prototypical years. There are certain elements that make music identifiable as black metal, but I'm glad to see that this line of demarcation has widened over the years, and more artists are seeing the subgenre as one of the more honest and sincere styles under the metal umbrella. I put together a pretty varied list of black metal bands here for you today, so I hope that you will consider them all to be very unique in their own way. The first one for me here is Pohjast, Downfall. Downfall is the third full-length from Pohjast and was released on Werewolf Promotion this past summer, June 2020. First of all, I want to say that this album artwork is stunning. I love when bands take an old painting and repurpose it to be used as a badass album cover. The painting is The Souls of Acheron, painted in 1898 by Adolf Hirschel. The lineup for this band consists of members all over the globe. Welcome to the 21st century, where you can be completely international and get things done. All of these band members have a lot of experience, and they bring that to the table. The music is more akin to blackened traditional metal with some Scandinavian folk elements twisted in. Sometimes it reminds me of, folky stuff like Winterzorg or Bathory, and other times it reminds me of more traditional stuff like Candlemass or St. Vitus. It's very cool. There's a very cool variation that happens throughout the album. Each song has its own sort of feel, but it's woven through a cohesive storytelling element. The guitar riffs on this album are really great and are really the driving force behind these songs. But there's also really cool uses of synths on this album with some very classic 80s tones. The sonic qualities of this album are very classic, analog sounding. Everything's situated very nicely, and I'm curious to know who did the production and the engineering on this album because, like I said, everything just sounds really good. Everything has its place. Everything is situated where it should be. The closing song, Souls on the Banks of Acheron, is the song that I've chosen for you to hear because I think it's a good summary of all of the elements mixed in on this album. It also has some very cool lyrics. Charon in the distance, rowing on the dark waters, will bring them all to their final abode. Very cool stuff, kind of traditional sort of lyrical themes and things like that. You're not going to find the typical misanthropia, anti-religion, that kind of thing. It's just kind of a storytelling band. Here's a clip from that song. What a radical song. This is a very unique album that definitely deserves your attention. It's a quick listen with a total runtime at around 31 minutes, so definitely check out Pohjast on Bandcamp. I think this would be a great addition to your autumn and winter listening. Next on my list is Vorstreus with the album De Vernietiging van Irminsul.
I don't speak freaky deaky Dutch.
Vorstreus spawns from the mind of a young Dutch fellow named Lars. The album was released early September on Knekkelput Records, a label from the Netherlands. I'm really going to struggle with this Dutch. First of all, I just want to say how much I love this album cover. This is yet another album cover that really prepares the listener for what they're about to experience. Lars is a strong multi-instrumentalist. I really like his approach to the guitar. It helps to drive the atmosphere, and he's got some really strong skill in the percussion department as well. His vocal delivery is varied, which really adds to the uniqueness of this record. Unfortunately, there are some sonic qualities that take away from the sheer power of this recording. The bass is practically non-existent, but that's kind of typical for this variety of cold and grim black metal.
It's fucking raw.
But really, the biggest offender is the lack of mastering. It's 2020. I shouldn't have to go reaching for the volume knob to make adjustments on every song. Every song on the CP has a different amplitude level, and the end of the first song and the fifth song abruptly get cut off. There's feedback at the end of the first song that just kind of gets cut off, and then at the end of the fifth song there's a riff that starts, and then there's like two notes, and then it just stops. So I don't know if that was like an oversight or something like that, but I mean, you know, I get that this is supposed to be raw black metal and stuff like that, but things like that I shouldn't really. I want Lars to continue writing and playing. He is very talented and puts out strong material. I think if he pays more attention to the little details and the mastering and the engineering, I can for sure see a successful career for him as a musician. I couldn't get any lyrics for the songs, and even if I could, you wouldn't want to hear me struggle with Dutch. So here's a clip from my favorite track, Weben. The limited edition cassettes of this album are all gone, but you can get digital copies on the Knekkelput Records Bandcamp page, and I hope that you'll consider supporting Vorstreus. Last, but certainly not least on my list is Gafr, Roots Go Deep. Roots Go Deep is the first EP by a solo artist hailing from the UK known as Gafr. The album was released this summer on Tainted Horde Records. Gafr proclaims themselves to be heroic black metal, which is pretty neat and seems to be an appropriate adjective. They implemented the adjective heroic because they draw inspirations lyrically from traditional heavy metal. But the music itself is not super traditional. Pohjast, I think, has more of a traditional sound to it. The music on Gafr is very guitar-driven and seems to pull on influences from more radio-friendly bands like Metallica, Judas Priest, and maybe even some Silverstein and AFI in one very brief moment. But I heard it. It's there. These smatterings of other genres really add to this record. It doesn't feel disjointed or incoherent. Gafr's vision remains very stout, and it's this sort of uniqueness that helps. In the end, this album seems to tether on the post-black metal, more traditional black metal line, and I really love it. It really kind of weaves those two subgenres together very well. Sonically, I have very few complaints about this record. The drum machine is very obvious, but even more than the egregious sounds of the soulless drum tones are the very basic patterns that are implemented. I think if Gafr can bring in someone to drum or at least consult him on some more exciting grooves and patterns, his next record could be something special for sure. I needed some uplifting messages this year after the crappy year that we've all been having, and Gafr definitely delivered on that. I call from the mountains and shout from the hills to all those who suffer society's ills. In this postmodern world and these meaningless times, our roots we will save and a purpose we'll find together. Awesome. These lyrics are from my favorite song on this record, Goat Men. Here's a clip. I hope you goat men and women enjoyed that small taste of Gafr. Out of all three of the bands that I just talked about, I think Gafr just kind of slightly makes it to the top of the pile for me. So with that, I hope that you'll consider going to Gafr's Bandcamp page, shelling out your hard-earned cash to support their music, and if you can't, which I completely understand, that's okay too, you can support the band by sharing their music and sharing this video. That definitely helps as well. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I can't believe that we have come to another end of the Underground Spotlight. We at Metal Forge Reviews cannot express our appreciation enough for your viewership. The next best thing you can do is interact with us. Say hello, leave a comment, share this video, or hit us up on social media. I run the Instagram, Brandon runs the Facebook page. A lot of the bands that we cover hit us up on these platforms or via our email. We put them on a list, and whenever we can get to them, we toss them in a mix, such as this video. As long as the release is an EP and came out this year, 2020, we will get around to it eventually. I know the year is closing in fast, so we're trying to kind of wrap these things up here. We want to keep making quality content for you. Your feedback is integral to ensuring that we are on the right track. Let us know what you think about our segments. A like or dislike is nice, but you can't get blood from a stone, so leave a quick comment with your thoughts. Positive, negative, we're curious to know. Do you have a favorite band that deserves more attention? Take a screenshot of their Bandcamp or social media page, or if you're wearing a shirt, take a picture of that shirt and use the hashtag Underground Spotlight. You can also do this with some merchandise, if you got some vinyl somewhere, if you got a sticker, if you got a patch, hat, whatever. Help spread the word and support your favorite artists and musicians. Until next time, be kind, be smart, be strong, go with the gods. Take care.